Perfect. All right, so hello everyone. So our presenter today is Sarah Cotton. So Sarah is a registered kinesiologist with the College of Kinesiologists of Ontario, and she's also a graduate of York University's Specialized Honors Science Kinesiology degree program. So as a former professional dancer, Sarah has an extensive background in fitness and health, and she strives to share her passion for healthy, active living with those around her. And so, Sarah, I will let you take it away.
Thanks, Laura. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you all. Thanks for being here today. As Laura mentioned, my name is Sarah, and I am joined by a colleague of mine, Lee, and she is also here with me. She's from Community Support Connections as well, and is a registered kinesiologist. So before we get into our topic, I am actually going to show you a short video about Community Support Connections and what we offer to the community.
Hi there, my name is Rosalind. Thanks so much for joining me today to learn about Community Support Connections. Let's head inside and take a look. At Community Support Connections, we support over 6,600 older adults and people with different abilities in Cambridge, Kitchener, North Dumfries, and Waterloo. We do this with the support of hundreds of volunteers and donors who help our clients to live in their own homes with independence and dignity. Our services are strategically focused in 4 areas to maximize impact: nutrition, physical health, social well-being, and help at home. Let's go see how we care for our community at home. Our first service umbrella is nutrition, which includes our Meals on Wheels and grocery shopping programs. We're so proud that we were able to open our own kitchen a few years ago, where our Red Seal chefs work alongside volunteers. We're able to accept fresh local food donations from local farmers, and we're able to incorporate fresh produce from our own on-site garden. Hot and frozen meals are delivered every weekday by our caring volunteers. Our grocery shopping program includes both volunteer drivers as well as drivers in our agency vehicles who deliver groceries to those unable to get their own. Let's go check out our next service area. Our second umbrella is physical health. This includes our free gentle exercise programming and free falls prevention classes. Historically, these were offered at accessible community locations, as well as one-on-one in clients' homes for those unable to get out. With the current state of events, we're offering these classes virtually in an online community. Let's take a look at our next area of focus. Our third service umbrella is social well-being. This includes our free caregiver support groups, community dining, friendly visiting, and reassurance calls. We're continuing to provide all of these services virtually so that our clients can continue to access the supports they need from the comfort of their own homes. Our transportation service continues to provide rides to get our clients to the important places they need to be. Let's check out our final area of focus. Our final service umbrella is help at home. This includes homemaking, home maintenance, snow removal, and yard work services. Thanks for joining us to learn more about Community Support Connections. If you're interested in more information on how you can become a client, a volunteer, or a donor, you can give us a call at our office, visit us online, or follow our social media channels.
All right, Lee, thank you for sharing that video. I'm just pulling up my PowerPoint presentation here now. So as the video mentioned, I am from Community Support Connections, and that video is a little overview. Before we start today, I just wanted to share a little disclaimer. So you can take a read over this for over the next minute or two. I'll just sum it up. This says that this presentation is for general information purposes only. I am not a doctor and I'm not offering any medical advice. This is just educational advice. And if this goes against anything your doctor has told you, please always listen to your healthcare team first. And as always, consult your healthcare provider before making any changes regarding to your health. So I'll just give you a couple more seconds to read that through. Also, while we're reading this through, we're going to start off with a little brain game today. So you might want to grab a pen and paper if you would like to play along. You're more than welcome to. So you have a couple seconds to grab a pen and paper if you would like, because there's a couple games coming up. So our first topic, as I mentioned, is brain health. So we will be talking about how to exercise your brain. Then we will touch a little bit upon mental health, and then we will go to sleep. We won't actually go to sleep, but we will go to the topic of sleep. Okay, so my first game here, this picture is based on a familiar saying. So I want you to look at this picture and see if you can figure out what this familiar saying is. If anyone can guess what this is, feel free to unmute yourself and to yell it out. Do we have any?
Brainstorming.
Eye of the storm.
Yes, I heard eye of the storm. So that is correct. So my next slide, I will have 10 of these and I will give you a minute or two to go through them all. So just like this one, as you saw, it said the word storm, and then in the letter O, there was a little I. So the next ones are similar, and it's all for your brain health to start exercising your brain. So here we go. So if you're with someone, you can talk it through, you can write them down. Make sure you look if a word is repeated, how many times the word is repeated. Looking at the pictures, the font size. We have 10 of them here. I'll give you another minute. Okay, let's start going through them. Does anyone want to unmute themselves and guess what the first one is?
Split personality.
Personality.
Yes, awesome. I heard a couple of answers, split personality. So as you can see, the word personality is split in two. And our next one, any guesses?
Misunderstood.
Misunderstood.
Good, great job. You guys are quick. And our third one?
Over the
Somewhere
rainbow.
over the rainbow.
Somewhere over the rainbow.
Perfect. Somewhere over the rainbow, if you're familiar with Wizard of Oz. And our fourth one?
History repeated.
Close. Yeah, history
History
repeats
repeats
itself.
itself.
Yeah,
A million and one
perfect.
chances.
Yeah.
A million and one?
Yeah.
1 in a million.
Yes,
Yeah.
1 in a million. Good job. And on to our second row here.
Double
Double
vision.
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 Yes, good. So if you guessed blurred vision, that's not a bad guess, but as you can see here, vision is written twice. So that's why the correct answer is double vision.
Hmm.
Now our next one is a little bit trickier. If
Walking on ice.
Walking over ice.
Hmm.
yeah, you guys are correct. So walking on thin ice. So
Hmm.
if they had walking in
ice.
bold, that would make it
Where
easier,
does it
but
say thin?
we'll take it for what it is.
Hmm.
And our next one here.
6 feet underground.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
Yeah.
6 feet underground.
Oh,
Perfect.
Okay.
X marks the
And
spot.
X marks the spot. Good.
Okay.
And our last one,
Once upon a time.
once upon a time. Perfect. Good job. So here are those answers there. But that was great. So
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
yeah, that was our first little game to get your brains challenged and going. All right. So to exercise our brain. So research shows to age successfully, we should be mentally and physically active, maintain social engagement, and attempt to control risk factors for chronic diseases. Examples such as diabetes, arthritis, cardiovascular disease, along with many others. Now, when you hear the phrase, if you don't use it, you lose it, do you think that applies to our brain health as well, or just our
Absolutely.
physical health?
Yes.
I think, yes,
Certainly.
good, great. I
Sure.
heard some answers there. It absolutely applies to our brain health as well, not just our physical bodies and our muscles. The brain is not a muscle, but for these purposes, let's pretend that it is, because just like other muscles in our body, we need to exercise it and keep it challenged. Otherwise, it will start to deteriorate. One way that we can do this is to change our movements. So when we do this, we change how we process information with stimulation and activation, and the brain can grow new neural connections. This means that our brain loves and thrives on novelty. So we just need to keep that in mind. Just because our brain loves to be challenged doesn't mean we have to go out of our way to do so. There are things that we can do in our everyday lives to challenge our brains. So as an example, if you try eating your next meal with your non-dominant hand, how challenging would that be? Probably pretty challenging. So that's something that you can try to challenge your brain. Or I know I have the routine that I always love putting on my left shoe first, always, always, always. But if I switch out that routine, that's something new for my brain and would challenge it and start to exercise it.
Put a different shoe on. She said she
Yeah,
was
so you
putting
can
that shoe
just
on.
change up those
Oh, yeah.
patterns, or try brushing your teeth tonight with your non-dominant hand. Just changing up those patterns we are so used to, we don't even have to think about, is a great brain activity and is a great way to increase brain activity. So as we are on this topic, I have another little really fun video. If you have those pen and papers ready, it's another great way and some great exercises for your brain.
Four exercises to test how fast your brain is. Regular exercise helps you stay in good shape and push back the appearance of changes associated with old age. This fact applies to all the organs in your body, including your brain. That's why today we're going to tell you about 4 simple exercises that can help preserve your memory. Also, you have a unique chance to check how fast your brain is. Let's begin. Exercise number 1. Multicolored text. We're going to show you words written in different colors. Proceed to say aloud the name of the color in which each of the words on the list is written. Ready? Go.
Green, black, red, green, yellow, black, blue,
Blue, red,
I guess it isn't that easy to do that it might seem. Now, let's name each color again in reverse order. Ready? Go. Did you manage to do it? Expect the going to be difficult at first, since the sections responsible for text perception and color perception are located in different hemispheres of the brain. Why is this exercise beneficial to your brain? It helps to prevent Alzheimer's disease by establishing new connections between the hemispheres and improves concentration and attention switching abilities. Exercise 2. Schulte table. Here's a simple table. Focus on the number 19 in the center of the square. Your goal is to find the number 1 and then all the remaining numbers in ascending order, fixing your gaze on each in turn. Let's give it a try. I'll give you 30 seconds for a start. How you doing there? Did you manage to find the remaining numbers? Keep going on. Only 10 seconds left. Well done. This exercise increases the reception and processing of information speed and develops peripheral vision. Later on, you can draw your own table. Don't forget to arrange the numbers in the cells randomly. Alternatively, you can search for Schulte tables on the internet. Exercise number 3. Finger gestures. Arrange the fingers of the right hand so as to make the peace sign while simultaneously making the OK sign with your left hand. Got it? Then change the arrangement of the fingers so that your left hand shows peace and your right hand shows OK. You should repeat this exercise several times. Let's do it 5 times for a start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was it easy for you? Then perform the exercise with both hands at once. Here are your 10 seconds to try. Ready? Go. It wasn't that easy, right? Yes, this exercise is a tricky one. However, it is beneficial as it trains attention and develops the ability to switch from one task to another quickly. Exercise number 4. Bimanual synchronous writing. For this exercise, you'll need 2 sheets of paper and a pair of easy-to-use writing utensils. When everything is ready, start drawing different geometric shapes with both hands at once. You can also write letters or words, provided the number of characters is the same for either hand. Let's give it a try right now. 10 seconds are all yours. Synchronous writing teaches your brain to handle multiple tasks simultaneously, thus stimulating the activity of both hemispheres. Finally, here is some additional advice. A well-known neuroscientist, Lawrence Katz, has developed a system of exercises to keep your brain maintaining its functions into a ripe old age. Here are 4 tips from his books. 1. Try to perform mundane everyday rituals, such as brushing your teeth or combing your hair, using your non-dominant hand. 2. While taking a shower or performing other routine activities, do everything with your eyes closed. 3. Frequently change the routes you use for commuting to work, going to shops, or reaching other regular destinations. 4. While watching a movie, try turning off the sound and relying on the actor's gestures and movements to guess what they are talking about. We hope this video was helpful for you, and you're going to start performing these simple exercises on a regular basis. They can help you retain a sound mind and clear your memory well. Share this video with others, hit the like button below, and click.
All right. What did everybody think about that video?
Not as easy as it looks.
No, not at all. It's pretty tricky. So I found that table one, any of the numbers in yellow were really difficult for me to find. So
Me too.
anyway, so those are great examples of ways that we can challenge and exercise our brain on every day. Okay, so now moving on to our next topic here. So we're going to just briefly touch upon mental health. So how can changes in our mental health affect your fall risk? Mental health can lead to changes in our behaviors, physical health, and may increase our need for more medications, which can lead to an increase of side effects, which can increases our chance of falling. For all of these reasons, the status of our mental health can influence our risk of having a fall. So first, I'm going to talk about anxiety. So anxiety is defined as nervousness can impact how we can think, feel, and act. We can use having a fear of falling or being afraid of leaving your house as an example. Both of these would put us at risk for a fall due to decreased physical activity, which would cause muscle weakness. Next is depression, the constant feeling of negativity. This can result from the loss of a loved one, abuse, certain medications, genetics, major life events, serious illnesses, or other personal issues, including conflict with others. A big problem with depression is that it can cause isolation and inactivity, which is not good for our minds or our bodies. Typically, when we are feeling sad or upset, we are less motivated to exercise or join a social activity. This lack of activity, both social and physical, can worsen our depression symptoms and can cause loss of muscle mass and bone risk. So now I have a great video that sums up depression that I'm going to share with all of you.
Depression is a complex disease, one that can be triggered by several factors, including chemical imbalances in the brain, medical conditions, traumatic life events, and genetics. But depression can start to lift within just a few weeks, provided you find the right combination of effective treatments. This is Your Brain On, where we explore how the world affects our brains and ourselves. Brain imaging studies show that depression is connected to changes in several parts of the brain, especially in 3 core areas. The first is the amygdala, which regulates emotions like anger, pleasure, and fear. When a person is depressed, the amygdala can become overactive, causing problems with sleep and behavior, as well as balance of key mood hormones. The second area is the hippocampus, which processes memory and regulates stress hormones such as cortisol. One study found it's up to 13% smaller in depressed women, and excess cortisol can stunt the growth of new neurons, creating poor moods and memory. The third main area is the thalamus, which helps link sensory information to good and bad feelings. Problems in the thalamus may be linked to conditions such as bipolar disorder. Changes to these parts of the brain and others mess with key hormones, such as serotonin, which regulates sleep and mood, and norepinephrine, which affects motivation. For some, a depressed mood passes on its own, especially if it was triggered by a particular sad event. But for those with ongoing clinical depression, it can take time to find effective treatment. Stats show sticking with treatment is worth it. One study by the National Institutes of Health showed 80% of people improved within just 4 to 6 weeks of starting medication, therapy, or support groups. Healthy lifestyle choices can help too. Eating a good diet and getting enough sleep can strengthen and repair important brain connections. Overcoming depression may become easier in the future. Scientists are learning more about how factors such as genetics influence depression, which may not only help create new drugs, but also make targeted treatment possible, helping someone with depression feel like herself again.
Okay, back to my PowerPoint here. So we've got lots of videos today, but I think these videos are really, really great. So our next topic is grief. So grief is a normal yet painful emotional reaction to loss. Experiencing grief can affect the status of our mental health and can cause fatigue physically and emotionally, which can also increase the risk of a fall. Being sad is normal, but avoiding daily activities for too long can lead to a decreased strength and a risk of falling. So I actually have one more video here talking about grief, similar to the last video.
When we're grieving a profound loss, we often say we're heartbroken, but it might be more accurate to call it brain broken, given the role the brain plays in grief. As your brain adjusts to the loss of someone you love, you might feel numb, depressed, or foggy, but moving through the stages of grief is natural and healthy. It helps you process your loss and begin to move forward over time. This is Your Brain On, where we explore how the world affects our brains and ourselves. The experience of grief is twofold: the immediate acute pain of the loss and the months afterward as you mourn. The loss of someone meaningful functions as a stressor, triggering the pituitary gland at the base of the brain to produce adrenocorticotrophin, or ACTH. ACTH sends a signal to the adrenal gland to release cortisone, a stress hormone. Unlike, say, a temporary threat, grief is an intense, persistent stressor, so your body remains flooded with cortisone. That can cause your immune system to falter, making you feel run down. This is likely why some bereaved spouses fall ill soon after their partner dies. Even if the death of your loved one was expected, the actual event can still feel like a shock to the system. In the short term, a traumatized brain is bottom-heavy, meaning primitive areas, including the fear center, are overactive, adding to feelings of stress and despair. Meanwhile, higher cortical areas of the brain are underactive, like the anterior cingulate cortex, which helps regulate emotion. You may find it difficult to let go of minor annoyances or experience symptoms like increased heart rate for several minutes after you're startled. However, over time, the initial shock of the loss typically gives way to a deep sadness or depression as you continue to mourn. Depression can cause widespread changes across several parts of the brain, including the amygdala, which regulates sleep behavior and mood, and the hippocampus, which processes memory and regulates stress hormones. These changes disrupt core functions of our bodies and minds. As you grieve, you may find yourself sleeping too little or too much, forgetting things, or trapped in a brain fog. These feelings are difficult, but the acute pain doesn't last forever. Eventually, the sadness begins to lift at least a little bit, and then you may move on to feelings of anger or guilt before slowly moving toward acceptance of the loss. Experts agree the bereaved follow their own individual timelines, but in general, this three-stage process usually takes about a year. There are steps you can take to feel better as you go through the grieving process. Talk therapy can be a major help. This might be group bereavement meetings or cognitive behavioral therapy, which can redirect negative thoughts. Aerobic exercise can improve mood, memory, and thought processing. Talking with friends about the person you lost can be a great comfort too. Studies show long-term grief actually activates neurons in the reward centers of the brain. And recalling the time spent with those who have died reminds us that the memories still live on.
Okay, so another very educational video. And our last condition of mental health we're going to talk about is dementia. So dementia is not a disease. It is a set of symptoms that can include memory loss, difficulties with thinking and judgment, problem solving, language, walking, and balance. It is caused by damage to the brain cells from things like Alzheimer's disease, stroke, Parkinson's disease, alcohol abuse, and many others. So one thing I did want to say is that dementia and Alzheimer's disease can be linked, but you can have dementia without having Alzheimer's disease. Typically, Alzheimer's disease can be the most common reason why people have dementia, which is why sometimes they can get lumped into one group. So what can we do about our brain health? So the first thing I wanted to say is, just like what we've been doing, is we can exercise our brain. We can try an activity every day that challenges your brain. Memory games, puzzles, word searches can all keep your brain healthy and active. We can also think about trying those things that we spoke about, brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand, putting your first shoe on that's opposite than what you normally do, changing your walking path when you go out to exercise. All of those things can help to challenge our brain. Also, certain types of physical exercise are going to challenge the brain more than others. Exercises that are related to coordination, moving opposites, moving in different directions, using, there's lots of different things. So I'm actually going to, I have a couple little fun little games here. So if everybody wants to put up their two hands, just want to see. Great. So on one hand, put your pointer finger and your thumb together. And on your other hand, your pinky and your thumb together. Now start going through your fingers, and they're going the opposite way, going through, and try to go back the other way, going through. I ended up with both pinkies. That was wrong. So this is something great that you can practice, and you can try to get quicker with it. Obviously, I need to practice this, but so that's something that you can do every day to challenge your brain. Something else you can do. So if you put out your right foot, if you're seated, start circling your ankle, your right ankle. Put your left hand out in front. While you're circling your ankle, flex the wrist up and down, but keep that ankle circled. You're still circling to the right. Now keep that wrist going and start circling your ankle the other way. Not as easy as it looks, right? Now let's try our other foot. So put your left foot out, circle it to the left, start flicking that wrist. And now circle that left ankle to the right, but keep that wrist going. And my last one is a classic that you've probably all done. You can tap your head and rub your tummy at the same time, but make sure you don't start rubbing your hair, right? You got to keep that hair nice. Now switch, rub your tummy the other way, but keep that hand still patting. And you can try it with your other hand, tap the head, rub the tummy. Oh, this is harder on this hand for me. I'm not doing very well. Yeah, I'm patting my belly. Anyways, so those are all great examples of things that we can do every day to challenge our brain and to keep it exercising. So the next thing is we can, I want to say this little tidbit here is the brain uses 20% of our body's blood supply. So this brings me to exercise in general. Exercise in general increases blood flow and oxygen, which also means it increases blood flow to the brain, which helps improve brain function. So anytime we increase blood flow to an area, it is going to also increase in oxygen, which could play a role in improving our memory or decreasing memory loss. So we have exercising our brain as number one, and we have exercise in general as number two. Number three is to talk about it. Discuss any mental health concerns with a trusted family member, a friend, or a healthcare provider, as well as talk about certain things you may be dealing with, like the loss of a loved one, a disagreement with a friend, a child, or a spouse. Being socially active in general is good for the brain as well. Getting together with friends and family continues to be an important aspect throughout life. I know that's a little bit difficult right now these days, but Zoom, like what you guys are doing right now, Zooming with family and friends, picking up the phone are all great ways to connect. And my fourth little topic here is to turn off the TV. The TV can set our brains to autopilot. So if we are watching TV, we can try to watch an educational program to keep our brain active. So those could be fun shows like Jeopardy or Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? That's one of my favorites. So all of those sort of trivia games are great if we're going to watch TV. So what can we do about our brain health? So medications are the most common form of treatment. But the problem with medication is that they can cause undesirable side effects. Also, one thing is we want to eat a healthy diet consistently. So not just every once in a while, but consistently. So this includes protein, fish, healthy fats and oils, dark green leafy vegetables, and whole grains. Next, we want to stay hydrated throughout the day. Just like everything else, the brain needs water to function. Sipping throughout the day is the best. And try not to wait until you already feel thirsty, because by the time you feel thirsty, you're actually already dehydrated. And my next thing here is try doing a positive thinking exercise each day. Try to think of things that affect you in a good way. What are you thankful for? What are you looking forward to doing today? Those are all questions that we can ask ourselves. If we view something in a negative perspective, we are less likely to act towards it. For example, if we don't see exercise as a positive thing, we're less likely to engage in physical activity. I heard a nice quote on the TV yesterday. I forget where it was, but it said that not every day is a good day, but we can find something good in every day. So I thought that was a nice little quote to think about. So what are some brain activities that all of you like to do? Does anybody have any examples they want to share?
I love puzzles.
Puzzles, yes, exactly. So things I was going to mention are jigsaw puzzles, crosswords. So I'll pull some up here. So here we have word searches. I really love word searches. It's one of my favorites. That's great for our brain that we can do every day. Sudoku. So I'm not very good at Sudoku, but I know friends who swear by it. That's another one that is really great to challenge our brain. And we have here, this is called Spot the Difference. So if anybody ever joins our exercise classes that we offer at Community Support Connections, sometimes we play these at the beginning of class. And you can see you have the two pictures here and you have to find the differences. So right away, I can see the picture on the right has a knot on the tree. The picture on the right has different clouds than the picture on the left. And I can see 3 flowers instead of 2 in the bottom right-hand corner. So that's another way that's really great to challenge our brain, spot the differences. And the last thing here is puzzles. Jigsaw puzzles are really great. And I actually have a fun video to show you guys about jigsaw puzzles.
As puzzling as it may sound, putting those jigsaw pieces together actually helps us hold it together mentally.
It's like getting a full body workout, but for your brain.
Clinical psychologist Dr. Dan Pallison says the first and biggest benefit is getting a full brain workout, as in the left and right sides collaborate.
The left side is responsible for logic and reason, and the right side is more creative. And something like a puzzle actually forces both sides of the brain to come together and work together in harmony.
You got that one.
One of the benefits of working out your brain through a puzzle is it slows down cognitive aging. And so what we see is decreases in dementia. There's even some links to reduced likelihood of Alzheimer's disease later on in life. When you are exercising your brain, you're keeping it fresh, you're keeping it healthy.
Getting better at sizing up a situation through visual spatial reasoning is the next health benefit of puzzling.
What that is it's basically our ability to understand where objects are in space.
You'll use this skill when judging the speed of a car before you cross the street, playing catch, or even packing a lunchbox.
So it's the ability to sort of bend images in our own mind and understand how it fits into the world. So you think about a puzzle piece, and in your mind, you're rotating pieces that are on the table, trying to find that exact piece.
Dr. Dan says this has tangible, real-world benefits.
It makes us more aware, it makes us more conscious, it makes us better drivers. We can assemble furniture better, we have a better idea of how things fit together.
The third piece to our puzzle is lowering stress.
When we are awake and alert and working on tasks, our brain is operating with beta waves. And when we're in more of a meditative state, our brain sort of relaxes into what we call alpha waves. And what we know about a task like a puzzle is we're also going into that more alpha wave activity. And what that does is it kind of frees up our mind to be more creative and think about big picture ideas while working on a really specific task.
We'll end by reconnecting with family while taking a break from the digital world.
You don't have to start and stop it. You don't have to pause it like a video game. Your phones are put away, screens are off, and you can just gather around a table and work on a puzzle. Young kids, I mean, puzzles are such a good way to help improve self-esteem as they're working to accomplish the same goal with you. You can praise your kids for doing a good job.
Yeah, we're masters at puzzling. Building better health one piece at a time, on the top of the list.
Okay, as I just get to my PowerPoint here. Skip through that. I think somebody in the chat asked how you spell Sudoku. So S-U-D-O-K-U. So that's this one that we talked about here. Spot the difference, and puzzles, which we just watched that awesome video on. So moving on to our last topic today is sleep. So how did everyone sleep last night? Hopefully pretty well, because sleep is an incredibly important aspect of our lives. During sleep, your body is working to support healthy brain function as well as your physical health. Ongoing sleep deficiency has been linked to an increased risk of not only falls, but also heart disease, kidney disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, and stroke. So, how can ongoing sleep deficiency increase our risk of falls? So an ongoing sleep deficiency can affect our brains as well. And lack of sleep not only affects how we feel, but it also affects our brain directly. Studies have shown that a lack of sleep could be associated with an increased risk of Alzheimer's disease. Sleep helps our brain get rid of brain toxins, which these toxins build up and they can lead to an increased risk of Alzheimer's disease. So just like this question was, is how can sleep deficiency increase your risk of falls? So you're more likely to have low energy, feel lethargic. Your desire to do a lot is down. Just you feel like lying around on the couch, not wanting to go outside and do anything. If this is something that goes on for a while, it's when it could lead to major problems with your body as well as your brain. So what can we do about sleep disturbances? So first off, talk to your doctor. Of course, number one, if you're having serious issues or problems with your sleep habits. Number two is to manage pain to help you sleep at night, if possible. So maybe looking at using different pillows to support your neck or your back or your hips. You could put a pillow in between your legs. Or if the pain is severe enough, you may have to talk about pain medications with your doctor. Number three is to have a regular and consistent sleep schedule of bedtimes and wake up times. Not only if you have a sleep routine where you do the same thing when you're getting ready for bed, can help your body know when it's bedtime and hopefully will help you start winding down. So examples of that is setting an alarm for when you go to bed as well as when you wake up. So not just only when you wake up, but when you go to bed. Making sure you set a routine that you put your phone away and you read for a little bit before you go to bed. If you do the same things consistently, your body will recognize that it's time to go to sleep. Number four is deal with problems during the day. It may be easier said than done, but if there's an issue you can fix or solve that day that is worrying you or stressing you out, try to do it during the day, because otherwise when you fall asleep, it could be one of those things that you can't stop thinking about and therefore keeping you up at night. Number five is physical activity, especially when done in the morning or early afternoon, can really help you sleep better at night. Try to avoid strenuous activity within 4 hours of bedtime though. Even if you're too tired to exercise, just try to get a few minutes of physical activity in every day, as studies have shown a high correlation between lack of exercise or a sedentary lifestyle with sleep disturbances. And number six is think about your sleep atmosphere. It should be quiet and relaxing. Try to reduce excess noise, turn off your lights. You may want to turn alarm clocks away if they're too bright. Or you may want to listen to some soft, relaxing music. Number seven, like I just mentioned earlier, is stop using electronics such as computers or phones a half an hour before bedtime. I know I'm guilty of this and I'm trying to make a better habit of it. But if we turn off our phones at least 30 minutes before bedtime, it really helps us sleep, because otherwise that blue light can affect us. And number eight, this might be harder these days because we do live in Canada and it is the winter, but get some sun during the day if possible. Sun during the day versus darkness at night can help the body get into a regular sleep rhythm. And my last one here, number 9, avoid heavy meals, lots of liquid, cigarettes, alcohol, or caffeine 4 hours before bedtime. Especially if we drink lots of liquid, we're more likely to be woken up to have to use the washroom in the middle of the night. So my last topic here that I'm talking about is something that we can do to help us sleep better at night. And it is progressive muscle relaxation. So Progressive muscle relaxation teaches you how to relax your muscles. So this technique, some people find this technique can help them fall asleep better at night and can help them get back to sleep if they have woken up in the middle of the night. So the example of this is you can start at your toes and work your way up to your head, or you can start at your head and work your way down. It doesn't matter which way, it's more personal preference. But what you do is you tense a certain part of your body, hold it for 5 seconds, and then release the tension. From there, pay attention about how your muscles feel when you relax them. So an example, if I was starting at my feet, I would first curl my toes. You can do this lying down in bed. I would curl my toes, hold it for 5 seconds, and relax. And think about that feeling as I relax my toes. Next, I would work up to my calves. Tense my calves, hold it for 5 seconds, and relax. Move up to my quads, squeeze those quads, hold it there, and relax. So this can really help with many different things like falling asleep. And I'm going to show you my last little video here. That is an example of progressive muscle relaxation. In this video, she's starting from the tip of her head and she's going to work her way through the face. But like I mentioned, you can go from the feet and work your way up.
So take a moment now to settle into a comfortable position. Go ahead and shift around until your body feels comfortable and at ease. When you're ready, you may close your eyes. Now through your nose, take a slow, deep breath. Hold it for a moment. And now slowly exhale. Notice that a feeling of relaxation can begin to develop as you breathe out. Take another slow, deep breath. Hold. And now let go. With every breath, you can allow yourself to become more and more relaxed. Now tense your forehead by raising your eyebrows as high as you can. As you hold this tension, notice where your forehead feels tense. And now, relax your forehead. Notice how it feels to have the muscles soften, to give way to relaxation. Let all the tension drain from your forehead. And now for your eyes and nose. Close your eyes very tightly and wrinkle your nose. Become aware of the tension in your eyes, nose, and the upper parts of your cheeks. And now, relax. Notice the discomfort fade away, replaced by a calm, relaxed feeling. And now your mouth and jaw. Put your mouth into a forced smile and clench your teeth very tightly. Your lips and cheeks and jaw should feel very tense. And now, relax those muscles. relax.
Great, so that was our last little video on progressive muscle relaxation. And the benefits of this is wonderful. So overall, progressive muscle relaxation can lower overall tension and stress levels. It can help you relax when you're feeling anxious and can reduce physical problems such as stomach aches and headaches. And also, like I mentioned, it can help improve sleep. It can help with the ability to fall asleep faster, and we can improve the quality of sleep as well. So if that is something you're interested in, you could play a video like this to help you fall asleep, or you can do it on your own, like I described, working through from the top of your body down or from your toes all the way up to your head. So that is it for me today. Thank you so much for joining me. We hit many topics: brain health, mental health, and sleep, and I hope everybody enjoyed it.
Thank you. That was great.
Thank you.